elaborate a little bit more as we touch this project and go into it with some questions and answers and dig into the details, and we can kind of intertwine some of those personal attributes into some of those discussion points and responses, okay? Because there's a lot to tell here with the vision. Some of this started with our initial submittal and pre-application submittal to the county, and stuff hit the media about this facility having pickleball courts. It's not gonna have pickleball courts, okay? It's not gonna have pickleball courts. And so I'm just here to say that this is gonna be an athletic facility that has an enclosed, right here, and then a covered turf building that is for the athletic training, okay, on turf. And so, fully covered, out of the Florida elements, in a place that's like unlike any other in the area as far as athletic facilities. So that was part of Steffi's vision, was to implement something like that. And these will be connected by a pathway and so forth. But generally, I want to walk you through these boards because I want you to come up in a little bit and kind of look at them after the meeting, whatever. If you have a question, you can pop up here. But this is generally our storyboard, right? This is our theming and our concept. So it kind of takes you through what the themes are for the Dark Horse name and the vision. This is the vicinity map. This is how to do that. Here is the property right here. So you can see the property in conjunction with maybe where a lot of you guys live in the area. The next one is our site plan. So it shows the site plan in total, and you probably have a lot of questions about that site plan specifically. So we'll go into that. And then this is the color rendered site plan, kind of showing it in its element, right? After the fact, if it were to be approved, it would be built. So it shows that kind of development really in its place. The first one, we've had some questions kind of sent to us, like, why is it oriented that way? Why is the layout that way? Well, to put it bluntly, this entire parcel is roughly a 12-acre parcel, so 11.86 acres plus or minus, okay? The majority of it is wetlands and floodplain. We were gifted with, by Mother Nature, a little upland pod in this area. That's generally where you see all the brick and mortar and pavement and stormwater ponds, is where all the uplands are, okay? It's not unlike any of these other developments in this entire area, where a lot of the neighborhoods try to find that upland. That's why they have curvilinear roads and the layout is the way they are. Most of the time, they're trying to find that upland place to build on. You know, the neighborhood right next door to us, right? That is a development that has about 1.3 acres of wetland impacts, but for the most part, they try to build on that little piece of upland. And our project is no different. So I hope that answers that question on why that's oriented there. But the saving grace is, we're not clearing all this stuff out front. So you're going to drive in, and there's going to be a curved road entry. When you drive by, it's really meant to provide an awesome wayfinding kind of vista, if you will, onto the property, okay? So when you drive by, it's not going to be this clear-cut property where there's a building just sitting there. It's kind of tucked back in the back. We've got a stormwater pond, a parking lot, and then we've got a little wellness garden retreat area. Again, an upland pocket or a pod, if you will. And it'll be connected by a little trail. So that's a place kind of for recovery and relief and things like that after training or before training. And so the two elements of this that are going vertical, okay, are the health and fitness building and the covered turf field building, okay? And so that is really, as I said, built on the upland areas of the property. The latest site plan that we submitted that you guys may have seen had this covered turf building and parking lot kind of rearranged. This is what we're going to be resubmitting in a couple of weeks, which is just a kind of new iteration of the parking field and the covered turf building. And the reason being is we're actually putting a lot of money into the civil engineering on this, okay? The civil engineering, why? Because we want to make sure it's buildable. A lot of people do a rezoning and they don't really know if it's buildable. They're just speculative. After the fact, they'll get the engineering if they get it approved. We're doing civil engineering concurrent while we run through this process to make sure it's something that really works. And why? Well, because there are wetlands. And why? Because there are a lot of floodplains in the area. So we need to be cognizant of that, okay? So that we're not impacting those to degrade the property, degrade the surroundings and the like. And then of course, this shows you the environment kind of in context of the general area. I do want to turn to my architect team right now. Cliff or Kevin, is there anything you guys wanted to add as far as the vision and the theming and the storyboard?